let's take time out from the Seventh Wars for tonight's special event. Throughout the series, we're also going to be hosting the Featherweight Championship. So, hey, let's bring them on!
Roboteers, stand by.
The last of the featherweight eliminators to go through to the final. Micromute from Stoke in Staffordshire with a static spike and scoop. Rampage 2 from Ely in Cambridgeshire with electric-powered flipper. Gianto from Aylesbury in Buckinghamshire with a sideways flipper. There are the teams together. Rampage on the left, Micromute in the middle, Gianto on the right-hand side. Craig Danby there. And Whipper from Newcastle in Staffordshire with a pneumatic flipper. Terry Martin captaining on the right, but not at the controls, significantly. In the arena for the house robots, Matilda. And also Sir Killalot. Goodness me, he'll make mincemeat of these.
2, 1, activate.
2 to go through then. They look incy-wincy out there, don't they? Whipper against Rampage 2. Speed a lot slower than you would imagine from the big boys. Micromute can get up to 30 miles an hour. We haven't seen it yet. The only action so far, Whipper and Rampage 2. There's Micromute. Looks a clever little robot spinning away there from Sir Killalot's clutches. Rampage 2 with the rib-like structure. That's Gianto with the spinning blade you can see there. Craig Danby at the controls, an electronics engineer. Micromute needs to get away from Sir Killalot. Gianto's blade, I don't think it's going to cause any damage whatsoever to Rampage 2. The shell there, polypro and aluminium. A windscreen wiper motor provides the power. Micromute underneath Matilda's tail. You really don't want to be... Oh, you don't want to be there. That's for certain. Rampage 2 backing on to Whipper. Is Whipper still mobile? It's being edged away. Rampage 2 with the scoop-like structure. Oh dear, look at the damage caused by Matilda's tail on Micromute. Whipper in major peril. I think he's finished. Rampage 2, we've seen a lot of that. And Micromute counted out. Sustained terrible damage from Matilda. Up to then, I thought it looked nippy and manoeuvrable and quite dangerous. Look how tiny Gianto is. 2 of these featherweights will make the final later on in the series. Micromute gone. No longer in contention. Matilda back in the CPZ, the Micromute team. And Adam Emmett rather disappointed and shaking his head. And of course now it's a beaten machine. Can be destroyed further by the house robots. I'm surprised Whipper hasn't been counted out. Micromute in the clutches of Sir Killalot. You can barely see it in there because of the enormity of Sir Killalot. And away. What's he doing here? The house robots teaming up to toy with Micromute. And dangles it, awfully, on Matilda's tail. Well, it is a beaten machine. It is in the arena. And once it is beaten, the house robots can cause damage. And Adam looks most upset. Terrible damage sustained by Micromute, out. The crowd love it, the team doesn't. A lot of painstaking work goes into these machines. Once you enter the arena, you know what will happen if you are a beaten machine. Pit, pit, pit by the crowd, put it out of its misery, go on, get it down there. And another tattered remnant, a footnote in Robot Wars history. So, Rampage 2, Whipper, Gianto still in there. But not for much longer. Gianto's helicopter blade slowly spinning into submission. Gianto out! And the 2 machines that make the featherweight final Whipper and Rampage 2.
Chaos in the war zone. There's little bits of featherweight all over the place. But there's winners, and they are the Whippersnapper Whipper and Rampage 2! Said you're through to the featherweight final. You said what a fluke.
Yeah, it was a fluke because our compressor, for some reason or other, wasn't running. Yeah. So we only had a couple of flips, and then that was it. Then we were just pushing, and then we lost the link halfway through. So we were very lucky to get through.
Let's hear it for Whipper. Rampage 2.
Yeah.
Did well on the Rampage, didn't it?
It did, yeah. We were doing well till one of our wheels seized up, and we were trying to get Whipper. That's why we kept going round in circles.
Yeah. I mean, it gives you some idea how big the house robots are when you see them against the featherweights, doesn't it?
They look enormous to the featherweights.
I mean, the Mute Boys stormed out because Matilda ripped their little Mute thing.
Yeah.
Well, ripped it to pieces, didn't it? Mm-hmm. All right, guys, good luck. Let's hear it for Rampage 2!
How long did that take you to do?
Well, over 3 years.
3 years, and they've ripped it apart in 5 minutes. They're not very nice, the house robots, are they?
No, but that's not a quick fix either. I think that's...
That is not a quick
No, it's free
fix.
speed material, that is.
One angry robot here, one very upset robot.
My teammates are they're just not here at the moment.
Livid.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be back to the big boys, the mighty heavyweights, when we return after the break here on Robot Wars. Welcome back to Robot Wars. Well, I've just about got me breath back from round 1. Unbelievable battles, and it's going to get better as the 4 robots left now go one-on-one.
Craig, this is how they line up. In a minute, Mega Morg against Robochicken, but first up, Tough as Nails against the Seeds Panic Attack, and we're with them in the pits.
You are the 8th seed this year, and of course you are former champions, but we've seen a lot of seeds being damaged and going out in the early stages.
We hope not to follow them. We'll see what happens in the next round now. We'll try and use the pit as much as we can, I think.
You are, lads, up against Tough as Nails. Do you reckon you could take them?
If we get lucky, yeah, as usual.
They're a pretty aggressive machine.
Yeah, I've heard that. We haven't seen them in action, but I've heard they're pretty mean, pretty awkward as well to get hold of. A few holes around the back, we might be able to sink the forks in, we'll see.
Look at the size of his ram. How big is that?
It's a 4-ton CO2 powered ram.
That's the business, really, isn't it?
That's the ram that gives us the crushing power.
That's the business end of Robot Wars. Are you getting nervous? This is a big match.
Well, we want a bigger pit.
You want to put... There's only one machine to put down the pit, though.
Oh, well, that fit.
Yeah.
No problem.
There's only Panic Attack this time.
Only Panic Attack, and it's going down.
Number 8 seed, Panic Attack.
I think they're up against it here. Kevin Pritchard, Jamie McGarry and Paul Wyatt.
Tough as Nails.
Looks good, the machine of Jeroen van der Leur, Stefan Johannes Rijmakers and Niels Schotten.
Roboteers, stand by.
Looking good too in the arena, Sergeant Bash on parade. And Mr. Psycho.
3, 2, 1.
And Tough as Nails repeat the pit release technique. Well, pushing Panic Attack that way, and has done again, but already has Panic Attack in its clutches. In the previous fight, it pressed the pit release button, then went on the attack. Panic Attack trying to get in and flick Tough as Nails underneath those front arms. The pincers of Tough as Nails, the ground clearance 3 centimetres, so vulnerable to a flipper. Trying to grapple and grasp Panic Attack. Oh, and just went into the CPZ, the edge of the CPZ. That meant, of course, Psycho's hammer could come down. The corner areas, corner patrol zones. If you're new to Robot Wars, patrolled by the house robots, you go into one of those corners and you can be attacked by a house robot. And momentarily, Tough as Nails lost their way. Don't think it's damaged any of their controls though, do you? And pursuing Panic Attack. Panic Attack very much on the defensive here. Very experienced machine, as we've mentioned before. Owned by Kim Davis. Part now, actually, of the technical team on Robot Wars, which means, of course, he can't fight competitively anymore, but this is nonetheless his machine. Captained now by Kevin Pritchard. Tough as nails in their first UK Robot Wars, doing very, very well. Purposefully again, grinding down Panic Attack. Left themselves broadside on to a little Panic Attack shove. But Panic Attack lacking any power to flip. Oh, and that's why, look, you can see the lifting prongs have been bent, crumpled by Tough as Nails. There's no offensive nature about Panic Attack now. What can they do? Just grin, bear it, and try and hold on out there and go to a judge's decision. But to me, the number 8 seeds are facing defeat full on here. Slammed into Sergeant Bash. Now that's not going to help matters. They can't get any purchase on Tough as Nails, can they? Or are the Forks okay? Have they been pushed back into position? What do you think? Tough as Nails has them anyway in its grip. So I think it's going to be academic. Can't get any traction on the arena floor though, because Panic Attack is digging in. Reversing against Tough as Nails. So the Duck team can't get the old push. And the final heave-ho down into that yawning pit. Tough as Nails team tries to drag Panic Attack away into the CPZ. Sergeant Bash awaiting. Steam vented from the arena floor. Sergeant Bash has a grapple. Tough as Nails watching any developments. They're in the CPZ, which means that Psycho can join in. Down comes the hammer. Panic Attack just dodged. I don't know how they managed to do that. And dodged again. That's good driving. Straight into the clutches of Tough as Nails. Well, a lesser robot would have submitted to defeat by now, and that's all credit to Panic Attack. But should this go to a judge's decision, as now seems inevitable, only one way, isn't it? Unless Panic Attack has got something miraculous in the final 4 seconds. Oh! For a minute there, I thought they might have pushed Tough as Nails down into the pit, but it goes to a judge's, and surely there can only be one decision here in the way of Tough as Nails.
Well, good fight. Far too close to call. I'm going to ask the audience, if you think Panic Attack won, make some noise! If you think Tough as Nails won, make some noise! Well, the audience have spoken. I think they went for Tough as Nails. We'll have to see if our judges agree while they're making up their minds. Let's look at the highlights.
I'm with the crowd, Craig. I go for Tough as Nails, driving on, causing damage to Panic Attack. The judges mark on start control, damage and aggression. For me, Tough as Nails was the more aggressive despite that push by Panic Attack. Panic Attack, good style to move Tough as Nails away from the pit. And again, good driving there, dodging the house robots.
Well, judges have made the decision. You know the criteria, lads. They've gone for Tough as Nails!
Surprised? Not really with the results. Of the decision anyway.
What's gone wrong with Panic Attack?
We were told that they didn't have a very good grab.
Yeah, but they did, didn't they?
It took as soon as they took those forks off, I tell you, it was goodbye Charlie.
And it was a bit of a pushing match, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, we knew they'd go for the pit release, and we were going to try and get in there before them. But
you kept getting away from them. At one stage, it looked like you'd reverse the roles, and you were coming back stronger towards the end of the fight. I thought.
During the bout, I tried to save some of the batteries, so when they were pushing us, I wasn't pushing totally against them.
Yeah.
So later on, we did push them towards the pit, but it just wouldn't go in that arc.
It's good to have you back. Come again. Let's hear it for Panic Attack. Bit of an upset. You've taken out the 8 seeds.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Yeah, and you have got a tough robot. You've sheared his bolts, he reckons.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, well, I'm quite surprised about that.
Yeah.
We also seem to run out of CO2 power, but and the battery went flat. But seems to have just enough power to make it to the end of the game.
That's it, because you were sort of running out of power towards the end. They were coming back into it, weren't they?
They were, yeah.
Good luck in the final, guys. Let's hear it for Tough as Nails.
So the seeds have gone. Tough as Nails make it through to the Heat M final. They'll meet either Mega Morg or Robochicken. Jane's in the pits.